Hello, welcome to Lesson 8 Program Control Statements in C Sharp, brought to you by Ankpro Technologies. My name is Harish. In the last session, we learned the iteration statement, that is while loop. Right now, we'll explore the do while. To understand do while in detail, we'll jump into the slide where it is explained. This is the slide for do while loop. A do while checks its condition at the end of the loop. It means that do while loop is going to check the condition at the end, but keep in mind while loop is going to check the condition at the beginning only. That is the difference between do while and while loop. This means that the do loop is guaranteed to execute at least one time. It means that whether the condition in the do while loop is passed or fail, whether it is true or false, but the do loop is going to execute at least once. Do loops are like a menu in the program. To understand this point, we'll jump into programming. I'll fire up the Visual Studio. This is the program this is the console project created for the control statements, and previously we executed the while loop, and here is the example for that. I'll just erase this. What this program tells us, I'll just erase this thing. Now I would like to continue the do while in this program only. In the last session, we saw the while loop where it asked for the user input and it executed till the user target. It means that it took the user input from the console. We'll do that now. We'll do the while loop first, then expand that while loop into do while. First I'll take a message, I'll take an input from the console. That is, I'll ask the user to enter a number from the console. In order to do that, I should print a message on the console telling the user to enter a number. Console dot write line please enter number. Please enter the number. Now once user read this sentence, please enter the number, in the console window, now his job is to enter the number. Once he enter the number, I want to store it in some variable, so I'll take target number is equal to. Now once the user enter the number, I'll use a readLine function to read that. The readLine function is present in the console class, so I'm using console.readLine. Now compiler throws error telling that cannot implicitly convert type to string, type string into int. So in order to do that, I'll use the parse method. This parse method will convert the string format of the readline into integer format. In the first line, user reads this, please enter a number, then he enters a number in the console window. That number will be read by the console.readline and it will be stored in the target number. But keep in mind, readline gives us the output in the string format. Now whatever number is coming, I'll store in the target number, but the return type is int. But readline is giving us a string type. So in order to convert that string to integer, I'll use this parse method. Now once I've received the input, I have to start with the while loop. While before that, I have to initialize. Before that, I have to initialize a starting point of my program. Starting point where the from where the program start is equal to 0. It means that while the intention of the program is to print the even numbers. If the user enters 10, I'll open the notepad. Here, what this while do, what is the output of this program is, this program has to give me output like this. If user enters output should be 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. It means that if user enters 10, it has to print the even numbers 0, 2, 4, 6 till 10. Now how to do that using the for loop? For that I gave a starting point as 0 and I've stored it in a variable start. Now I'll tell start less than or equal to target number. Now once this condition is passed, I have to print something on the console window, so I'll use console.writeLine. Start it is printed, but keep in mind my output should be in the format of even numbers. That is, like if user enters 10, my output should be in the even format, that is even number format, that is 0 to 4. So I have to increment every time by it by 2 numbers. So start is equal to start plus 2. I would like to explain this piece of code. Here, when I run this program, it gives me a message telling that please enter number. Once I read this number, I'll enter a number in the console. For example, if I enter 10, the 10 will be read by the console.readLine, but that will be in the string format. In order to convert into integer format, I will use the parse method. Then I'll store that number in the target number variable. Once the number is stored in the target number, next job is I want to print even number on the console window. I have to write a code for that, so I used a while loop. In the while loop, I have given the starting point from where it should start. It should start from 0, 0 less than the target number. Target number user entered here is 10, so 0 less than or equal to 10. Yes, it is true, and it comes and prints that 0, and in the next line it will increment by 2, that is 0 is equal to start is equal to 0 plus 2. Again the 2, it will go here, 2 less than or equal to 10. Yes, it is true. It will print until the condition fails. It means that once it comes here 10, once it prints the 10, then 10 comes here, 10 is equal to 10 plus 2, 12. Again 12 goes here, 12 less than or equal to 10, condition fails, and it comes out of the loop and gives us the output 0, 2, 4, 6, 8 and 10. To understand that, we'll run the program. Now once I enter the target number 10, it should give me the even numbers still from 0 to 10. Because why 0? Because we are given the starting point start as 0 only. See, it is giving me 0, 2, 4, 8, 6, 8 and 10. Now when I run this program, control F5, if I give 10, it executed and it console window went. But what I want to do is I want the user, now if I want to check it for 20, means instead of giving the target number as 10, if I want to give it for 20, then for 30, what I'm trying to tell is I want the user to decide whether to exit out of this program or to continue. In order to do that, we'll ask the user, do you want to continue, and check for other numbers. Like as I entered here for target number 10, if you want to print even numbers till 20, then you can continue the same program instead of exiting and running the program again. So I'll ask him a message console.writeLine. Do you want to continue? Do you want to continue? Type yes or no. I'll enter the time limit. What I'm trying to do is once user gets the output for the target number what he has executed, next it will ask us, ask the message telling that do you want to check for another number, like that, do you want to continue, and if user gives yes, it will continue, and if he gives no, it will come out of the loop. To read that input, I'll take another string. That's it. Thank you. Target choice is equal to console dot read line. String target choice is equal to console dot read line. This happens here. Now what happens is, once user read this, you'll enter either yes or no, and I want to take that yes or no, and I want to store in some variable. So I'm reading that yes or no using the console dot read line. Then I'm storing it in a target choice variable, and the return type of it is string. Now once I do that, I have to verify whether the user has entered yes or no. If he has entered anything other than that, I should tell him that the entered input is invalid. So I'll use if loop to check that condition. If this target choice, that is entered true or entered yes or no, we'll check it here. Target choice not equal to yes. I'm using the short circuit operator. Now similarly for no, if it tells this loop, this code tells us that if user entered anything other than yes or no, then it has to print message telling that invalid input. Please type yes or no. Now if user enters yes or no, if he enters anything other than that, it should tell us to enter yes or no. Now to do that, to check whether this piece of code is working, I'll just run the program, control F5, and if I enter 10, and it's asking do you want to continue, type yes or no. If I type yes, it is. Keep in mind, we have not written any code other after this, so it is just stopping at yes or no. It is just showing yes or no. Now I'll run the program. I'll just type 10, and it is asking again, do you want to continue? If I press anything other than yes or no, it should give me a message, please enter the valid input yes or no. Now I'll type some invalid input. It is asking us invalid input, please type yes or no. Now I have to remove this. Please type yes or no. Now we'll write the code. Now this should happen until user enters the correct format of yes or no. So now the do while come into existence. Now I want to do this until user enters the correct format of yes or no. So I'll keep that part of this part of code in the while loop, in the do while loop. So do loop, sorry. Now I kept it here and I closed the bracket here. Now what will happen is, it will check till the user enters the correct format of yes or no, then we should allow it to do the next step. So I'll use the while loop, but it is throwing error telling that target choice does not exist in the current context, because we have declared this target choice inside the do loop, but the do loop instance is closing here. The target the target choice is inside the do loop. It could not recognize the scope is inside, so it could not recognize. I'll declare this target choice outside the do loop so that error will go. String target choice. I'll declare empty string. Now once I do this, the error went. What I'm trying to do here is I'm just telling the compiler, ask the user to enter the correct format until you type the correct format of yes or no. Once it is done, it will do this work. Target choice not equal to yes and not equal to no. Now once it is passed, what our next step is? Once it is passed, once the user enters the correct format of yes or no, the program should again repeat, means it should ask again to enter the target number. In order to do that, we'll use the another do loop to do that work. What I'm trying to do here is I'm just doing do loop here, do the entire thing and placing it here another empty bracket. I placed another bracket here of do loop. Now I have to tell it while when I have to do that work, when I have to call again the target number is when while target choice is equal to s, but it is again throwing error telling that does not exist in the context because we are declared inside the do loop, but the while is outside the do loop, so we have to declare it outside. Now I'll do it here. Once I declared outside, the error went. Now what will happen is first it will run this program, it will ask the target number, then it will run, then this part of code will get executed, and if I enter the correct format of yes or no, it should reprint, it should ask me again the target number. Similarly, it happens until the user decides to exit the program. Now I'll run the program, control F5. Now you can observe here, when I enter 10, then it is asking me whether I want to continue. If I type the incorrect format, if I type other than yes or no, it is telling us invalid input, please type yes or no. When I type the correct format yes, it is asking again to me enter the number. So I'll enter 20. It will print me a even number till 20, from 0 to 20. This is the usage of do while loop. Now I'll close this program. Now I'll run the program again. I'll enter 10. Now it is asking me to continue yes or no. What happens if I give like this? It is throwing me error telling that invalid input, please type yes or no. This is because the case sensitive. Now I'll convert the input taking from the console into to upper. When I do this to upper, I have to change the format here also. Yes, and your no. Now once I've done with this, I'll copy this exact thing and I'll paste here also. Similarly, I have to change here also. When I run this program, I'll enter 10. Now if I enter the uppercase, it is asking me to enter a number. It means that it was a case sensitive problem. Now when I give no in the smaller case also, it's working fine. This is the working example of do while loop. And now we'll jump back in the presentation. Now we'll understand the difference between while and do while loop. While loop checks condition at the beginning. As we saw in the earlier session, the starting only we gave the expression for the while loop to check the condition. This means while loop checks the condition at the beginning only. But just now we saw do while checks the condition at the end of the loop. At least for once it executes the condition irrespective of the condition is true or false. Do while loop is guaranteed to execute at least once, as I explained now, and while loop does not provide that guarantee of execution. This is the difference between while and do while loop. Thank you. Please subscribe to Ankpro training below. Have a great day.